Committee this Tuesday afternoon, April 1st. And we have a couple of bills to vote and move along. We're going to start with S3. Does anybody need a reminder of what S3 is all about?
A quick one.
Yeah.
Ian, what's S3 all about?
S3 is an excellent bill that aims to allow for responsible individuals who want to put their real property into trusts to do so without sacrificing the protections that a tenant of the entirety has in a marriage in Vermont. That is one of the types of tenancy of property that exists in Vermont, and it's fairly unique. It's so when you're married and you own property, neither of the individuals can attach debt to the property without agreement of the other person because they both have full ownership. And the problem is right now, if you put it into trust, now the trust is the owner of the property, and that protection is no longer there. So what S3 aims to do is allow for people to put property into trust while still maintaining the protections of a tenant by the entirety.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So once it goes in a trust, then the marriage is kind of like you can keep it out of the hands of the marriage.
I don't understand your question.
So let's say let's say you're having a dispute with your significant other at the time, right?
Yeah.
You know it's headed south, right? Does that mean if it's in a trust that it can it's more protection for who you want the real assets or money to go to?
So right now, I guess if we're talking about right now without the passage of S3, if you've had the property in trust and you had a situation where you had one spouse who was attaching debt to a property, they could do that even though they were married because the property is in trust. If S3 were to move forward, then the one spouse wouldn't be able to do that because the trust, even though it's in trust, the tenant by the entirety protection would be in effect, meaning that they would need to have permission of the other spouse to attach that, to capitalize the property. That makes sense?
Good enough for us. Yeah.
Perhaps good now.
Oh, my God. Wow.
This is the as passed by the Senate version. I will take a motion to find S3 as passed by the Senate favorable. So we'll send it on to the floor. Is there that motion? Angela moved, and we have a second. Any additional discussion on this important, though relatively technical bill involving property and trust? Yes.
Is there anything critical in the bill that I didn't bring up that the committee should know about?
Yeah, but I thought that we got it quite well. All right. Seeing no discussion, the clerk can call the roll.
Arsenal.
Yes.
I know the feeling.
Yes.
Good now.
Yes.
Goldstein, yes. Harvey, Malay,
Yes.
Oliver.
Yeah.
Richardson.
Yeah.
Christie, Burdick.
Yes.
Long.
Yes. All right, thank you. And our practicing attorney has agreed to report this one. So thank you very
He
much.
does a better job reporting it than how it gets.
I think you should.
I also hope that I do a good job.
I was joking.
So of course, the edited version has passed the Senate. So moving to S9. This is the bill that is actually, we have an amendment, 1.2. Michelle did go over this last week, I believe it was. The first amendment was fairly technical on section 1. And then section 2 is actually taking language that is in the miscellaneous bill that passed out of the Senate, but figured that it made more sense for it to be in here with this bill. And the bill establishes that after hours access to protective orders in the case of sexual assault. So I would take a motion to find, well, the first is a motion to find the amendment, draft number 1.2 to be favorable. Is there a second?
Second?
Let's just get this part out of the way. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, so I will next take a motion to find favorable S9 as amended.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion on this bill?
Right.
I didn't want to take I wanted to offer.
No, I think, well, okay, yeah, I'm not used to doing that.
I
So,
know, but it
all
was
right,
your
I'll
bill.
make a comment, that I think it's a good thing that we make this available when we do, and it's about time we did it. It's in weekends, and you know, why, so, here it is.
Anything else?
I'll agree with Tom, with Representative Oliver, and say thank you for bringing the bill forward. I know this is the Senate version, but Tom had also introduced similar or identical bill here in the House. So thank you very much for that. And I wanted to share that I asked Judge Zone while he was testifying about any sort of trauma-informed training that the after hours workers might receive. And he did reach out to me after testimony to share that the after hours workers received a training 2 years ago with Maureen Fox, the director of mental health at UPS, that included trauma informed interactions, as well as a training last year with Judge David Sontag, a retired judge who is a nationally recognized instructor on DD matters, which also did include specific training on trauma-informed interaction. So I was really glad to hear that. Just wanted to share that when I think about, a person who would be reaching out to these in this expanded availability of after-hours help. I just thought it was important to consider the specifics of that interaction and what that person might be experiencing in the moment. And so it's really good to know when I just read the bill and it says, what is the term? It just says like, an authorized person to receive requests. And that could be so many different people in different positions. So I just wanted to make sure there was some awareness of what the people reaching out for these requests might be experiencing. So I'm glad to hear that is something that the court is considering. And I'm happy to support the bill.
Excellent. Any other discussion? See none, the clerk call roll.
Arsenal,
Yes.
Poland,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Soslant, yes. Harvey. Polly,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Christie, Burdick. Long,
Yes. Thank you. This great bill, and I understand Representative Oliver has agreed to report it as well. So you know what you need to do to, as far as to get this with the vote count and send the draft number 1.2, which Nate, why don't you make sure that has the edited version of 1.2. I think that the version we have is in fact edited. So you forward that on to Nigel and with the vote count saying that you're report.
I'll have those emails out to both of you by business today with all the information that you need to send to Nigel.
Need to include all the report text or just the bill itself? The bill.
Bill. Yeah. So, all right. So we got done a little quicker. Well, actually, 1:30 is when we're supposed to start next, so why don't we go offline,